Okay, without further ado, we will move to roadmap updates by Niels Bantilan. Welcome, Niels.
Thank you, David. Hopefully everyone can hear me okay. Um, yeah, hi everyone. I'm Niels Bantilan. I'm the Chief ML Engineer at Union AI, and the role I serve in Flyte OSS is basically product manager slash engineer at the same time. But I've been working with the team and Eduardo specifically to try to bring you more transparency into the Flyte open source updates. So if we go to the next slide. Cool. So in case you missed it, Flyte 1.3.0, that was the most recent release we just put out back in January, uh, calling out 5 major um, feature enhancements here. So there's the gate nodes, node type, which enables signaling API for human in the loop slash external signal use cases. Yi gave a great presentation of this. So we'll add a link there in the Slack community if anyone's curious. We also added 3 integrations, MLflow integration for tracking logging metrics during your experiments that might happen in a flight task, the Dask integration, and the Databricks integration. So we'll hear about the Dask one pretty soon. But Kevin, our own Kevin Su, gave a Databricks integration, so you can look back at our recordings there if you're curious. And last but not least, TensorFlow types, which adds direct type support for TensorFlow records and directories of examples. Moving on to a 1.4.0, which should be coming up in the end of the month. These are just 6 highlights. So DuckDB integration, which will allow you to do basically in-process SQL analytics, data transformation type use cases in a flight task. The next one, which is pretty big, is expanding support for MySQL. So this specifically is using a MySQL database for the Flyte backend for the 2 components mentioned here, Flyte admin and data catalog. This is something that people in the community have wanted, so we're going to give it to you. The third point here is the pod template task config. For context here, basically Flytekit, the Python SDK, has been kind of designed around abstracting away K8's abstractions, but the community has wanted access to certain abstractions here, like volume mounts and other things. So this pod template configuration at the task level will give you access to all of those underlying constructs. Point 4 here is one I'm excited about. This is a Flyte deployment reference implementation. So basically, this is an easy but opinionated way to spin up a cloud-backed Flyte cluster. So this is beyond the Flyte demo sandbox use case. So this will be something we'll provide that the union will update and maintain, and you can then take that and customize it obviously to whatever your use case needs. Second to the last here is also an exciting item, the external web API plugins. So if for any one of you who's written a backend plugin, you currently have to do this in Go. And this item will actually allow you to write plugins in Python. So if you need to access some kind of external service, like say SageMaker, imagine that backend plugin doesn't exist, then you can write one in Python. And last but not least, we're planning a bunch of performance improvements and fixes on the Flyte console UI, many of which are based on your feedback and bug reports. Okay, and last but not least, just some pointers and links here. So the roadmap we're hosting on GitHub projects. So you can go to github.com/org/flyteorg project 3, and that'll take you to our roadmap, which is, kind of grouped by milestone. So if you want to check out the full plan for the 1.4.0 release, and then maybe looking forward to 1.5.0, you can take a peek in there. As always, you can always ask questions and ask the community in our Slack. And there's also the in-flight conversations, the new one that just came up. And hang tight for ideas or like a process for proposing, discussing, and like maybe voting on ideas. So I'm working with David on that, and we'll give you some updates on what that looks like in the next few syncs. And that's it for the roadmap updates. Thank you.